Hello there! Welcome to the SaaS Viya Release Highlight Show. I'm your host, Anna Brown, and today we will cover feature updates of SaaS Viya version 2021.1.2. Lots to cover in today's show, and once again, I would love to hear what you think. Please tell me what you think in the comments below if you're watching this on LinkedIn Live or the live chat Q&A on YouTube. So tell me your comments, ask your questions. We would love to have some engagement here. Now, to kick things off today, I am joined by Director of Product Marketing, David Tureen, to tell us a little bit about what the specific features we're going to show today mean to you and your analytics process. So David, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's really cool to be here. So to start us off, I'd like to introduce us all to what we call the analytics lifecycle. Now, this is a methodology that SaaS pioneered, and quite frankly, it acts as the blueprint for a lot of your analytics projects out there. And in this show today, we'll cover some of the most coolest enhancements on SaaS Viya across really this entire analytics lifecycle. So let's cover it really quickly. On the left side of your screen in the data ops stage. Now, this is the stage where you're seeing essentially all of your data assets. You may be doing things like improving quality, you're implementing your privacy policy, you're providing governance, and so forth. So in this release, we are announcing support for Cloudera Data Platform 7.2. So if you're a Cloudera user, I can tell you that you'll save a tremendous amount of time, you'll save cost with in-database analytics for Cloudera. So that's the data ops stage.
Excellent.
The next stage is artificial intelligence. And quite frankly, this is often the most exciting part of any customer project. We've got quite a few enhancements in this stage. First, if you are using conversational AI, then you can essentially improve your customer satisfaction by turning your chatbots into smart digital assistants. So stay tuned for that. More detail later on in this show. Number two, StyleGANs. We know that good quality training data is really difficult to come by, and StyleGANs can help with that. So that's another enhancement in this release. Number three in artificial intelligence, a new method in reinforcement learning. So with support for the popular actor-critic method, a lot of our customers are now using it. You can essentially train models more accurately and more efficiently with this method. And last but definitely not least in artificial intelligence, number four, if you are a marketer and you're looking to better understand how your customers are interacting with your content, how they're using your content, then we are introducing new market attribution models that will help you with that. So that's all on artificial intelligence. Like I said, there's a lot in this release. Finally, I want to cover the model ops stage on the right side of your screen. And this is where the steps you're taking is really you're deploying models, you're monitoring models, and you're incorporating business rules to get you to those better decisions. With this enhancement, now you can decide how you measure the performance of your models, and you can see all of those metrics from a single dashboard across a large number of models. So later on in this show, I believe Anna and Diana will cover a lot more detail on this specific topic, but that's the analytics lifecycle.
That is correct. I will have Diana Shaw on the show later to talk about what's new with SaaS Model Manager. Gosh, David, thank you for that context because month to month we learn about different feature updates of different products, and it's so nice to see where they lay along the end-to-end analytics process. So tell us what you think, viewers, users out there. Was this helpful? Did it make sense to you? Where do you kind of sit in terms of your analytics maturity and where you are on the analytics lifecycle? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And now we get to see these product features in action in one of my favorite parts of the show, the rundown.
In reinforcement learning, we've added support to train the policy model using an actor-critic method. This method helps address the problem of high variance in the gradient when searching for the optimal value function to generate the policy model. In the actor-critic method, the critic estimates the state value function and the actor updates the policy distribution in the direction suggested by the critic, so they work in conjunction with each other. And finally, we're releasing an action set for training generative adversarial networks, or GANs, which are models that can synthesize new data and that have the same characteristics as the original or training data. Now, in this release, we're providing support specifically for image data, or style GANs as they're called, and we'll be following this up soon with GANs for tabular data. GAN models are really valuable in that they offer a way to enrich and expand your training data with synthesized data that's representative of real data.
Providing a great customer experience is always a high priority for you. Chatbots contribute to positive experiences because of guided navigation and assistance. In this release, your SaaS Conversation Designer chatbot is even more impactful because it can interact with other elements of your web application, thus providing you a more enjoyable customer experience. This is facilitated through custom events. Accessed within a new node inside SaaS Conversation Designer, you can now design chatbots which do more than just answer questions or provide you information. Consider the situation where you have made a purchase. Inside the chatbot's dialogues, the chatbot acknowledges the transaction and adds a custom event, signaling to the website that it needs to add one more item to the shopping cart. The user is immediately informed and does not have to use different interfaces like clicking on a button to make a transaction while using the chatbot to just ask questions. No, you use the chatbot for everything. There are other use cases where the custom event adds value. For example, while navigating a report, you can now use a chatbot to help you get to specific pieces of information within a report in a guided manner, and at the same time be able to access all the other information on the report as well. Your overall experience is enriched because there's a space for information provided by reports and there's a space for insights provided by the bot. Your chatbot therefore becomes a true digital assistant. Another benefit is that this makes the bot even more proactive. Imagine if you were just browsing over an item you were interested in. Wouldn't it be great if the chatbot picks up that signal and offers you help and guidance? So there you go, custom events. Keep watching our GitHub page for more examples which use this feature, and I sincerely hope this stokes your own curiosity and innovation as well.
Hey everyone, it's Gunja here, and I'm very excited to introduce to you a brand new procedure that is coming up in the latest release, 2021.1.2 of SaaS Econometrics. If you're in the marketing business and need to identify which of your marketing channels drive customer conversions, or in other words, which marketing content persuades customers to buy your product, then Proc Market Attribution provides you the right tool. Proc Market Attribution holds the action set Market Attribution. For example, this data table contains records of 2 million customer visits for 13 distinctive marketing channels, which includes direct mail, email, paid social, paid search, web, SMS, etc. The market attribution action fits a Markov attribution model using a first-order Markov chain to calculate the probability of interaction between pairs of channels in the customer journey and evaluates the channel's contribution to customer conversions through the so-called removal effect. The removal effect of a channel refers to the decrease in the probability of overall conversion if the channel were removed. In this example, channel 5, which corresponds to organic, that is unpaid search, leads to the greatest decrease in the probability of conversion if it is missing. In this graph, you see the contributions of each channel. These are the normalized removal effects to indicate each channel's contribution to the conversion. In addition to providing the market attribution model, Proc Market Attribution provides several heuristic attribution models such as the first touch, lost touch, and linear attribution models. This side-by-side view provides a convenient way of comparing these models. A very helpful procedure, and more is coming in SaaS Econometrics.
Wow. Thank you for the updates, team. That really gave us a deeper view into what these product features look like that David set us up with along the analytics life cycle. So appreciate that. And also really enjoying the comments on the LinkedIn post. Looks like we have quite a global audience here from Brazil, Peru, Nigeria, Italy, Cameroon, London, India, the list goes on and on. This is wonderful to see. So again, send us your questions and tell us what you think about the VIA highlights, and especially about the next section, which will focus on that model ops section of the analytics lifecycle. We have Senior Product Manager Diana Shaw here to join us here. Diana, you seem to always be in the rundown and show off what's new from month to month with SaaS Model Manager, and I'm so excited that you're here in the flesh-ish on virtual to talk about in more detail what Model Manager can bring into the deployment stage. So you have the floor. Tell us what you'd like to show us today.
David's right. The artificial intelligence is a really fun section. It's one where you have a lot of creativity, but if you don't have model ops, you're really not going to be able to operationalize and productionalize the really cool work that your data scientists are creating. So I'm really pleased to be able to support SaaS Model Manager. It's a tool that really helps streamline and govern and enable us to monitor those models once they're productionalized. So that's what I'm going to be showing today, is really the updated performance reports for those models that have been put out into production. So let's take a look. So now we're looking at SaaS Model Manager. And just a quick reminder, SaaS Model Manager is really meant to help streamline the analytical model deployment and management of all types of models, whether they were created in SaaS or, for instance, in PyTorch right here, or maybe it was created in R or other types of Python-based models. Now, Anna, I think you're going to love this. From the homepage, because there's so much great new content that we are delivering as part of the CI/CD, the Continuous Integration, Continuous Delivery. On the homepage, on the right-hand side, under What's New, check this out. We're authoring blogs every month, and they go to the SaaS community.
SaaS support communities.
Exactly. Now, I think what's better is check this out. So we're generating these blogs just to help everybody know what's out there. But I think you're going to like this even better. There's such a great number of contributors to SaaS communities in terms of the field, customers alike, everyone. What's really great is, for instance, Sophia had put out a blog in terms of how to create, the custom monitoring KPIs that you're going to see in a minute, and the updated performance reports. And she showed how to do it for fraud models. And so again, this how-to really, really is going to help customers be able to leverage what we're creating in SaaS Model Manager. So you like it?
Love that experience. Right from the product, you can dive into the community, get your how-to information, expand your network, and get your questions solved as well, or answered. Wonderful.
Yeah, and I mean, we have links to the documentation, which is really helpful, but I have to admit, I am a huge fan of SaaS community. So thank you for creating that and helping us with that experience. So on the home page, well, check this out, because I don't know if you speak Korean. I love this. I have no idea what that is.
I don't.
But I can actually, I know, right? But you and I can both figure out, or at least we have a fighting chance of knowing that it's a classification model. And you can look at some of the details in regards to the project, even though we can't necessarily read the name of the actual project or model, right? Yeah, I'm excited for this. So today we're going to highlight the updated performance report. So let me jump directly into that project that I have a performance report up. Now we have the toggles over on the left-hand side, but sometimes it's fun to just kind of jump right in. So Anna, last time we talked, you were asking me about our support for Python. Well, let me show you.
Yes.
SaaS Model Manager really wants to support all types of models, whether it was created in R, Python, SAS. We want to treat them all alike and be able to help that model steward be really successful at being able to operationalize their models with great ease. So here's a logistic regression model that was created in Python. We used a package that we've put out on GitHub called PZMM. And using that, it automatically created the score code for me. And when we ingested it in, it creates this wrapper code that I need if I'm going to execute in different SAS compute engines. But literally, we are trying to make it so seamless that whether you code in Python, R, or SAS, that you're all treated equally. You get your score code generated, everything's set up and configured so that you can easily, just with a click of a button, go and publish this model off. I'm going to actually push it out to Git because many times customers are looking to take advantage of Jenkins or GitOps or some of the other tools to operationalize their models. So in addition to being able to publish models out into our production environments like the microanalytics service, which is great for RESTful API calls, or CAS, our cloud analytics service associated with FIA. And next month, if you have me back, we can talk about the SAS container runtime. That's super exciting. Think of a small portable container that executes SAS. And then we also have publishing SAS models to Azure Machine Learning. So,
whoa, I'm
right?
noting all of these things, Diana, noting all of them. Yes.
Perfect. There is so much going on with SAS Model Manager, and it's a cool tool to operationalize models. And we are really trying to make that model steward be the hero of the organization that's able to take the cool stuff that the data scientists create and be able to push it out and operationalize it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got this model set as a challenger model because I still like my SAS Forest model, to be honest. But can I show you the performance reports? Because this is the cool part.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So check it out. I know you might not have seen our performance reports before, but we only had, call it 9 plots. You had no idea what was going on. You could only see it for one model. We've completely revamped the performance report. So here's a summary page that tells you all about the 5 different models that I have as part of my performance monitoring, meaning that I want to see how well those 5 different models that are assigned to this project, how they're performing every month. So here is the forest model. You can see that I used misclassification as my the project priority. So let me show you that here quickly. In the properties, I have a classification model. We have a number of different types of models that we support, but for performance monitoring, we're really well situated to support classification and prediction models. And essentially what I'm doing is I want to be alerted the moment that the misclassification associated with particularly that champion model, if it exceeds 27%, because that means it's getting pretty poor. But I also can choose other key performance indicators, like false positive rate, F1 score, other types of KPIs to notify me when there's problems going on. So keep those in mind because that's essentially what we're calculating every month. And you can see how I'm able to compare the 5 different models over time. Make sense?
Oh. Is this the area, Diana, where the model steward or the data steward would do the bulk of their model comparator, or is that another section of Model Manager?
Well, let me show you what we got in the updated performance reports, and then I'll show you one other thing before we go. Sound fair? Because what I'm able to do right from the performance reports is I can actually see how the model is doing on all the different variables over time. So you can see that I have 8 months worth of information that I'm comparing. So I can see the input and output variables here and how they're changing. I can see if you can see that the YOJ variable is showing the greatest amount of deviation for this particular plot. But let me go take a look at the decision tree. Yep. Well, that makes sense because it's the input variable, right? Let me go back to that Python logistic model. This is the heart of the information that I really want to know. How is the model performing over time? Because the data science created it on some training data, but really what Model Manager enables us to do is look at how it's performing over time now that we've put it out and we're running it however often we want. So in this case, I'm doing it monthly. And this really gives me a chance to look at, you know, is that logistic regression model doing significantly better than the gradient boosting or the forest model? I can see in line how the different models are performing over time across a number of months of data. Does that help?
It does. I love those visuals.
Yeah, and then what we also tried to do is make it a little bit easier to understand how to interpret the plots. So we've added in some simple natural language to try and help explain so that you can look at it and you can see that, for instance, the forest model, although it's still the best model, you can see that certain criteria like the Gini or the KS, sorry, these are data science terms that I like nerding out on, but you can see that they're starting to grade over time. But then I can compare it with those other models too, right? To see if they're getting significantly better or worse over time. And then, for instance, this is my favorite. So, feature contribution index. What this is we're actually calculating what should be the expected value for how that particular input variable, debt to income ratio, should be, how we expect it to impact the output of the model. And so what you can see is that the debt to equity calculation for the time periods 7 and 8 are kind of outside the expected bands, which means that I've got a problem. And so this is actually really helpful. So the blue, if I keep the yellow or the gold line within the blue band, all is good. But the moment that I start deviating and running outside, that's a good indicator that I need to go back to my data scientists to maybe think about retraining the model and thinking about the fact that there might be something in the market that's changing the debt to equity in terms of how it's impacting the performance of my model. Does that help, Anna? Can I make you a data scientist where you can look at this?
You basically, I think that's a huge benefit to us lay people. And I especially like that natural language kind of quick summary statements on what those different KPIs are and signify. That's so very helpful.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's great because I'm happy that we're kind of hitting the mark for what you're looking for. And, you know, we can run and look at different types of trend lines as well. Now, what's better is that all of this information is something that I can look at. But let me show you one thing that we've done that's kind of even better. I'm also the product manager for Workflow, and Workflow is the ability to be able to kind of take your business practice and apply it, and be able to take kind of your business process and put it in a flow. And so what we've done is this is an out-of-the-box automated flow that actually tracks all of the KPIs I just showed you. And you can see that I have tasks that I would assign you to complete. And then tasks, we call them service tasks. Those are ones that can be fully automated. Now, let me show you how that flow executed for that particular project. So you can see that it calculates all the way through, and then it sent me, the reason why I knew that there was a problem today is I actually got an email notification from this out-of-the-box workflow that we ship that is highly integrated with Model Manager and all of the KPIs that we've just incorporated in. So one last thing, you're going to ask me, okay, Diana, where did you come up with the KPIs? Well, we now have the ability to run KPIs, both the out-of-the-box ones and also custom ones, directly within the application. So let me just kind of take it home in terms of what is Model Manager and what's kind of the value. So again, Model Manager allows you to support all types of models: Python, R, SAS, computer vision models, classification models, prediction models, text models. And we're able to make it easy for organizations to be able to operationalize their models, identify those that are champion or challenger models, be able to publish them out to a wide variety of different publishing destinations, and govern it the whole way through. And do that automated tracking to notify you when your models are starting to wane in terms of their performance. So hopefully that's given you a good idea of our updated performance report and how it fits in with SAS Model Manager.
Great walkthrough, Diana. I can really see the value of this deployment stage with SaaS Model Manager. It just takes advantage of all this hard analytics work and puts it into action, puts it into operation, and allows you to kind of monitor that and make sure that you're doing, repeating processes and things that are working and doing away with things that aren't. So I did want to ask you about those custom or updated performance reports, though. You showed several different types. Are there any specific examples you can think of that customers might use and find particularly handy to communicate like analytics insights to their fellow business users or their executives or any other counterparts across the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to say, although SAS really tried to think through as many different plots as we could, you saw a lot of them today. Every time I talk to a customer, they have a great nuance in terms of how they're calculating some indices or some features that they're looking for, whether they're binning data, things like that. What SAS Model Manager is really trying to do is be a white expandable box, meaning that we want to make it very easy for customers to be able to add in plots that they've created within SAS Visual Analytics and using some of the macros that we generate for performance monitoring, but also be able to take the information that we've generated and actually push that out into other tools, other visualization tools like SAS Visual Analytics, SAS Model Risk Manager, and other open source or third-party tools. But the whole idea is to be able to integrate and have a white expandable box. And so no matter how much we think of in terms of generating a new plot, customers always have kind of tweaks that they want to make, and they have the flexibility to do that.
Wonderful. White expandable box. I really like that term. I hadn't heard of that. So before these particular performance reports were built into the product, how were customers getting this information before? In what ways were they evaluating it?
Well, we had performance reports before, but as I had mentioned, we kind of had just a big blob for the different plots that would get generated, and it was only rendering for one model. So if I had a report that had, call it the 5 models that you saw today, it would actually only just render the champion model and would completely forget about all the others. So it was a lot of extra work that they had to do to go and find the data, to go and put in a visualization tool to take a look at it. So what you saw is we've completely revamped it so that you can compare lots of different models within the one report and be able to add in a lot of customization in terms of rendering the standard and the custom KPIs directly in. And then automating it, because quite honestly, automation's the whole key, right? That's artificial intelligence, being able to do things in an automated way so that we don't have to have individuals having to hand code and do all that extra work. So it was a lot harder. It's a lot easier now.
Always good to make things easier. And I assume that you're probably building things that will make it even easier to use SAS Model Manager in the months to come. Can you give us a sneak peek of what we have to look forward to?
Absolutely. So our whole mission is to be able to operationalize models. And what I'm really excited about is the fact that with the 2020.1.3 release, the July release, we're going to be enabling customers to take SAS models and put them in a container. And that container can run outside of VIA. So we're calling it the SAS Container Runtime, or SOCR. So that's coming out. I also mentioned the ability to integrate with Azure Machine Learning, which is great because that's such a great way for us to be able to collaborate with our partners. So we now have the ability to take those SAS models, we also have those Python models from before, and be able to register them for use in Microsoft downstream applications like Power Apps by registering directly into Azure Machine Learning. And then we have a bunch of other things coming, but I think those are the two big ones that I'd like to highlight.
Those are big. Containers, Azure Machine Learning, the works. We can't wait to have you back on the show, Diana. Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, that just gave you a taste of what the latest feature enhancements are in SAS VIA version 2021.1.2. Be sure to check out the links below for more information. We've got links to support learning resources, documentation, and relevant community pages that you want to dig into to get more information. And definitely check out the next show next month in August. SAS 5 release highlights will be coming at you again on SaaS Users YouTube and LinkedIn Live. The best way to find out about when that show will be is to subscribe to the SaaS Users YouTube channel. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye.